All right. Hello, welcome. So today we are going to be talking about PEMDAS. So PEMDAS is the order of operations when trying to simplify an expression in mathematics. This acronym, PEMDAS is an acronym, and it stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Now, when I went ahead and wrote this out ahead of time, just to save the space of, or the video space of actually me writing it out, I went ahead and put in little lines here, these three lines here, and those are serving as dividers between parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and addition and subtraction. Now, PEMDAS, or the order of operations, I consider to be something I would like to term as a hierarchy of priority. All right. So, hierarchy of priority, what do I mean? Well, when you're simplifying an expression, so for instance, if I were to have something that looks like 2 times 3 minus 4, I'm going to make that, I'll make it 6. 6 divided by 3, then I square that, and then I take 4 halves away, and then I maybe add 4 times 2 squared. PEMDAS is going to tell me, in terms of like a priority hierarchy, what I need to do first and what I need to do last when simplifying this expression. And in terms of priority, I mean with regards to the operations at hand. So some operations you'll see in mathematics are addition and subtraction. You will see multiplication and division. You'll see exponents as well. So here's some subtraction. We got a division here. We got exponents. We got multiplication in front and over here as well. Addition, subtraction here as well. And then we also have parentheses. So here, these open curvy things that are pointed inwards surrounding this 3 minus 6 divided by 3. Well, parentheses in of itself is not an operation, but rather kind of like a marker of priority. A marker of a priority that kind of changes how we would more naturally do the following items on the list: exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. It says, okay, whatever's within parentheses, whatever's inside here, I will do before anything outside, regardless of how much higher priority these outside things have in this expression. So for instance, we'll look inside the parentheses here. We have 3 minus 6 divided by 3. So just looking at this expression, we see we have division and we have subtraction. Division is on a tier level that is higher in the hierarchy than is subtraction, and so we shall do the division first. 6 divided by 3 is just 2, and so now we have 3 minus 2. Note, right now, we are still working within the parentheses. If we want to finish off the parentheses, we can now do this subtraction, and we get 1. I'm now going to go ahead and just copy down the other things that we had and move on. So, once what is inside of the parentheses is as simplified as you possibly can get it, you can now focus your attention outwards. So, resting on the shoulders of our parentheses term here, we have the exponent, and we have a multiplication of 2 by the side. Well, if you look at our hierarchy list, exponents come before multiplication. And so I shall do this 1 quantity squared first, and then I shall afterwards multiply by 2. So what is 1 squared? Well, 1 squared is just 1 times 1, which of course is just 1. So I'm going to just make one copy there. So 1 times 1 is 1. Then we have 2 times 1, which is essentially just going to be 2. Brilliant. We have now taken care of this entire term here. Now, the reason we've got through all of this before touching any of this stuff over here is because right now I see a subtraction sign following this big giant term. Notice here, subtraction and addition, so this addition here would be the same, are the lowest priorities of everything else. And so if we see higher order terms, we must, or higher order operations, we must do those things first before we do the addition subtraction in the main problem. Now I say in the main problem to kind of differentiate, hopefully, in words, this subtraction sign from this one. Recall, this subtraction sign is found within this parentheses here, and so while we must still do the division here first, we're going to do this subtraction before we do the exponents or the multiplication. These parentheses, again, kind of marks that this subtraction is kind of higher priority in terms of what you should do first when simplifying this term than is this multiplication and this exponent here. However, we're going to now move forward. We're going to look over to the right, or in the middle, so to speak, because we have addition, subtraction, separating two more terms, each of which have some higher priority stuff. So you might say, okay, let's work on this exponent first because, well, exponent is definitely higher than division. However, I remind you, before we can add or subtract any of this, either of these terms, we need to simplify both of them so we can get rid of the higher order operations. And so regardless of whether or not we do this guy first or this one, we're going to have to do them both before we can add them, so it really doesn't matter which one we touch first. So I'm going to say, okay, minus, well, 4 divided by 2 is just 2. I can kind of carry that down if I want. That one is already now simplified. On the right-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and erase that circle, this circle. I'm now going to add something. What am I going to add? Well, it's whatever this simplifies to right here. Well, 4 times 2 squared, I will remind you, 2 squared is nothing but 2 times 2, and so this is really 4 times 2 times 2. Notice that this exponent does not apply to both of these terms. If it did, if it applied to the 4 as well, you would need to throw in parentheses to tell yourself, hey, do this multiplication before the exponent, because multiplication comes after the exponent. If you look over on the left, it's going to come after. Exponent here, if we didn't have parentheses, would come first, and it would be done on the shoulder of the object, in this case the 2, that bears it. So here, 2 times 2 is 4, times 4 is just 16. Now I could keep writing plus 16, plus 16, plus 16, plus 16, or I could do the math pretty early on. I get 2 plus 16, well, or a negative 2 minus 2 plus 16. In the end, that's going to be a change of a positive 14. If I take away 2 and then add 14 back. All right, and then last we have 2 plus 14, which is 16. All right, so that's how order of operations, PEMDAS, works. In the next video, I will describe why this is the hierarchy. Obviously, parentheses are up top because we want to change the order of operation sometimes to do subtraction first earlier. But we're going to explore why is exponents above multiplication division, and why are all 3 of those above addition and subtraction. And yeah, hope this helped.